Good grief. Why do they never go in for me? Hi everyone, I'm back again with another video. I've been noticing that there's a fair few people lately been making videos about their favourite top 10 Beatles songs. So I thought I'd jump on the bandwagon. I know Richard did one, I know Rachel did one. So here we go with my favourite Beatles songs. I'm possibly kind of a rough order, but this is, what an impossible task anyway. I really don't think there is probably a Beatles song that I really hate. There's some that I'm not particularly fond of, but out of their, what is it, 213, is it 213 songs or whatever they released? There's a mere, well, I can probably count them on about two fingers, the ones that I'm not particularly fond of. So, splendid choice, really. So, here we go. Number 10 is this track off Help. And the track I absolutely adore of this is not the title track. It's actually You've Got to Hide Your Love Away. I've loved that since I was a kid. I think one of the first... Now, I'm trying to remember if it was included on one of the Beatles compilations that I first heard when I was a kid. Was it on 20 Greatest Hits? I'm sure it's on one of them, but I'm not sure which one. But I've loved that. I mean, when I first heard it, I hadn't really heard Dylan, so I didn't know that it was directly influenced by Dylan. But I absolutely adored it. I loved the flute solo. I loved the kind of almost the introspective lyrics. It got a really introspective feel to the whole song. You know, why is he standing in the corner with his head in hands, and you know, and I really identified with that song. I really loved it. It's number 10. There we go. Number 10. You've Got to Hide Your Love Away from Help. Number 9. Now, number 9 is from Abbey Road, and I'm going to choose because I absolutely love the vocal harmonies on Because. I think the way that George Martin triple tracked John, Paul and George's vocals on this, it sounds absolutely sublime. And it's kind of, I really love it's a simplistic lyric, but it just states everything. It's perfect encapsulation of what it means to set out to say. I absolutely adore Because. I think it is such a brilliant piece of music. And I think probably kick-started most of Jeff Lynne's career, to be honest. But there you go. Number 9, Because. Number 8 is from Sgt. Pepper. And it's not the one you probably think. I'm actually going to choose She's Leaving Home for number 8. I actually listened to this for the first time in ages, all the way through the other day. Just because I felt I needed to. It'd been a while since I listened to this, and I thought, right, put it on. And I was enjoying it. It was good. It was great. And then She's Leaving Home came on, and my word, it just struck me again. It's happened to me before, but it just... I think I was walking past the record player at the time, and it stopped me in my tracks. I think it is such a beautifully constructed piece of music. I think from the opening strings, is it harpsichord on it? Whatever those opening notes are, through to the end, the orchestration, even though it's not by George Martin, it wasn't arranged by George Martin, is fantastic. I just think it's brilliant from start to finish. I think Paul was really good at these kind of kitchen sink northern dramas. Yeah, I reckon he could have, you know, if he'd been schooled in another form of literature rather than song lyrics, but say scripts, I reckon he could have written like a lot of those northern dramas, you know, stuff in that ilk. Because this is brilliant. Tale of the generation gap, and I think it still strikes home. I still think this generation gap is around, even though people say, you know, the generations are different. Well, no, they're not. I think we basically go through the same cycle over and over again, maybe with a little bit more understanding each time. But this kind of thing happens on the thing that happens on She's Leaving Home happens over and over again. So, and I know people it still happens to. So, there we go. So number 8, She's Leaving Home. Number 7, I think I've got this right. Number 7 is my favourite track off the White Album, and it's Helter Skelter. It's still brutal, absolutely brutal. It's still just as powerful, and it does knock I Can See for Miles out of the park. In fact, probably up until Black Sabbath, it was definitely I'd say it was heavier than Purple Haze, heavier than Born to Be Wild. What a song, and it is definitely proto metal, definitely. But yeah, go number 7, Helter Skelter. And Susie was adept at doing good versions of Beatles songs. But the Banshees did a really good version of that as well. Right, number 6 is a B-side. Obviously it's on Past Masters, Volume 2. So I'm going to choose the B-side of Paperback Writer. So this I think was was this an 83 issue? I'm not sure. Don't think was it originally reissued in this sleeve? I've got no idea. I've never been that much bothered finding out. But on the B-side of Paperback Writer is the song Rain. I absolutely love Rain. It's probably, I think it was the first of their psychedelic records to be issued, the true psychedelic records. I just think, I remember listening to this and sort of when I was, how old would I have been? 15, 16, and being utterly blown away by it. Pure early psychedelia, absolutely brilliant, just brilliant stuff. Real Birdsy type guitars, got the harmonies on it, the backwards guitar, which was the first time it had appeared on a Beatles record, I think. Even though Tomorrow Never Knows was recorded first, I think this came out before it. Well, I know it came out before it. So I think this was the first time they had backwards guitar on a record. I absolutely love Rain, still love it. But there we go. Number 5, the finest rock and roll song that the Beatles recorded is on here, on Please Please Me, and it's called I Saw Her Standing There, the first song on their first album. And I mean, most people would have, I reckon at the time, everybody would have heard their first singles, first. But if you got this and then put your needle down and you're blown away by I Saw Her Standing There, it's got to be one of the greatest opening tracks on any album. I think it's an absolutely brilliant song. Little Richard, total Little Richard tribute, but it's got such a life of its own. It's such a good rock and roll song. So yeah, number 5, I Saw Her Standing There. Number 4 is on here. So number 4 is on the Magical Mystery Tour. It was originally on the Magical Mystery Tour EP, and it's I'm the Walrus. I have to admit, I've always been a bit more of a John fan rather than a Paul fan. It's quite nice that in this top 10 songs, I think it's a 60-40 split in the end. But I've always been more of a John person, and I'm the Walrus. What a song! I loved this way before Oasis ever covered it, which is a pale imitation of the Beatles version. I love the lyrical playing about that he did on this, which is basically he started doing on A Spaniard in the Works, and then this, obviously the products of drugs and goodness knows what else, but I just love the nonsensical sort of Lewis Carroll type gobbledygook of the lyrics. I just think he's great. Really love I'm the Walrus. And I love that kind of sort of that mid to late period psychedelic stuff that they did. Probably my favourite stuff, as you can see from the rest of my top 3, I think. Right. Number 3 of my favourite Beatles album, and it's the closer. It's Tomorrow Never Knows, which I think, what an incredible song. What an incredible song. I think it's better than A Day in the Life. As a clue for you, A Day in the Life isn't in my top 10. I love it, but it's not in my top 10. What an incredible song this is. I think I remember putting it on when I first heard Revolver, and I was like, what on earth is going on? I mean, you've got all kinds of sounds going on. And the drumming's magnificent on this. Ringo's really underrated. It is, I think it's the closest the Beatles ever got to approximating a trip in music, I think. I think it's the closest they ever got. And I think it's one of the best things they ever did. I mean, it's not my favourite song, but it's pretty darn close. What a piece of music. So there we go. Number 3 is Tomorrow Never Knows. Number 2, we're going back to this. Number 2 is on here, because it's easier just to use this one. And it's actually one of the other songs, so it's Strawberry Fields Forever. I've always loved Strawberry Fields Forever. I must have heard it when I was like a kid, because 76, I think, they reissued a load of the singles. I think it was 76. And I must have heard it loads on the radio. I'm not sure if it ever got back in the charts. I know but Strawberry Fields have just loved to pieces ever since I first heard it. And I've heard it, I don't know when I first heard it. It's kind of one of those songs that just seeped into my consciousness, I think. I don't know if my parents ever actually had a copy of Strawberry Fields anywhere. Because they definitely didn't have this, and they didn't have any of the compilations, so I'm not sure when I actually heard it first, but I've always loved it. Love Lennon's voice on it, love his voice on that. And it's kind of, I love his evocation of childhood. Absolutely love that. Which is basically what psychedelia was all about, really, I guess. Or British psychedelia in particular, harking back to that childhood, which is what Pink Floyd did with Piper. So, yeah, fantastic stuff. And then number 1, going back to Revolver, I have to go for number 1 song of this. And it is Eleanor Rigby. Eleanor Rigby is I think Eleanor Rigby is a magnificent piece of music. It is an incredible piece of music. It's so sharp, the lyrics are so sharp. It's such a succinct piece of writing, telling a little story of this lonely old woman and who basically is living the last days of her life out alone from everybody else, cared for only by her priest, and then basically forgotten thereafter. I just think it's an exquisite piece of music. And the strings on it are amazing. I really can't get over how much that song, I've listened to that song over and over again, and it sounds just as fresh every time I hear it. And there's not that many songs that I can probably say that about. Absolutely fantastic piece of music. Love it to pieces, and it's my Beatles number 1. So there we go. My favourite 10 Beatles songs, done and dusted. So I hope you enjoyed that. I am going to be back very quite promptly, well, prompt for me anyway, with the next Vinyl Watch, because I've got a lot to show that I want to show. And there we go. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.